Hello, hello, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm assuming we're waiting for the others.
I assume so. Is
Let me
Honorio's the boss there? Where I don't know where
let
he's
me
at.
let me send him a quick text message because
Okay, Wesley wants to join, so we'll let Wesley in. Ineshka, any answer from Honorio?
no, I haven't gotten a response yet.
All right, let's start. Please switch your cameras on. And anybody else beside Honorio missing?
Elton, but I think he's with one of the almost they say one of the ay, Dios mío, one of the vendors
Okay.
that's supposed to collect their things.
Okay, great. Wesley, are you with us? Hello, 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 Wesley. Ba-ba-ba.
You might be muted. I usually have a lot of trouble with
That's
Google
fine.
Meets
I'm
and
removing
Teams,
him
but
from the
should be
call. He
good.
can call back. But all the calls that I
Okay.
want, right, are with camera. This is a professional
Gotcha.
environment. I want to go through
Yep.
this. So, Yaneshka, hi, I'm Alejandro. I don't know if we've met. I'm a member of the board, but I'm also the tech guy. The other thing on audio is I want to start the meetings on time, right? Let this be a gentle reminder of that. So this is it. You guys need to take notes. Tell me if there's any way that I can improve specifically the SBDC or business initiatives aspect. When people see this new website, anything and everything we can do to connect not only to your website, but in social media and everything, right? What are we missing or what can we make better, right? Without further ado, I'll get started. Here we go. Okay, so this is the new Culture Center website. Up here, you see this yellow banner. These are ads. There are more than one place to put ads, and they can be, as long as they're this size, they can be anything. Whoever has a Canva account from each department can design them and send them to us, right? If you need help with a template or something, we can do that, Matt or Xiomara or myself, right? The point being that this is another way to make sure with some regularity, if you have an announcement or you want to drive people to your site or Facebook page or whatever, right? You want to be able to do that. In this case, we have 6 annual events. I know the popular myth is that we have 4, right? But we actually have 6 that have been going on for more than 15 years and some much longer than that. These, when you click on them, they will take you to a page, a permanent page that has the information about our history of these events. In this case, there's one next Friday, right? So if I click on this, if it works, it'll take me to the page itself, right? So it tells you this year's events, right? This one, in this case, 100 by 35, gives you the last year, last year's video, right? And it says it clearly here, but it also tells you what it's about. So it will always be there. It's a permanent. So if people want to know what 100 by 35 is, that'll be a way to tell them, right? You can drive them to this page. Again, slideshows, because of we've kept documentation. We have, I don't know, probably 10 years or 12 years of photos. And that's when they click on this, they'll go through the full exhibit, right? On the right-hand side, you see the poster. We want to be able to make sure that people remember the poster for the last year and this year, right? If we ever get good enough at planning, we can put this year's poster up in advance, right? Down here, we have a new logo for this event. We have new logos for all 6 of them. They're in the process of being reviewed and approved, but we put them up here in the meantime, right? So let's go back to the actual Cultural Center website. All right, so the first 15 seconds, we have some slides here, is a video that Matt put together, right? Just of the vibrant community that we live in now. And then you'll, after 15 seconds, you'll go to a slideshow beginning here with the 1970s with the riots, right? The first one was in 66. And then every 5 seconds, it does that, right? We're going to wait for this one more time around. This talks about the issues in every decade and the Culture Center's response to it. If you see down here, it says under construction. The only one it doesn't say that for is the 70s, because when it's done, and it will take a couple months, and then it'll be just a process here. About our work takes it to the first set. So here, and this is important for you all, because what we do, right? I think this has to be cleaned up a little bit in terms of the Cultural Center, but this is a way to download the PR Town brochure that you all did, right? It does it pretty automatically. All you do is click there and it downloads it. And if you have Adobe Reader or Adobe Acrobat, it should open them up automatically, right? There we go. That just depends on internet speed, right? But there you go with that, right? We can close this here. All right, we're back here. And here's where we were under the PRCC. What we do, this downloads the annual report, the beautiful document that we come out with annually, a small version, right? It's only 4 or 5 megs. Visit our programs. This is the other thing that we updated. The Google Map, we're putting some finishing touches on it, but it's live when we send it live. Now you have all of this, right? So we see the Business Initiatives Office. It tells us a picture, who the contact is. We need a contact person, right? But it has the biz info. And if you click on this, it'll take you to the economic development page in general, right? But here's how you can see all the center stuff, as well as, whoops, here's our childcare. And up here is the community garden, which we need a picture for. And Matt still has to get me the info for the offices in Belmont Cragen. Okay, so if there's anything that's missing, we need to know it, right? Because we want to make it as easy as we can for people to have a contact number and then a phone number. If it's an office number, that's fine, right? As well as a picture. So in this case, we know on the business initiatives, we're missing both a contact number, a name, and we have the phone number. So I think we're just missing a contact name. All right. So Honorio, if you could send that to me afterwards, that would be great. All right. So
Got it.
the what? Go ahead.
You got it. You got it, Alejandro.
Okay. So we go back to our little cards here, what I call cards, but they're just, why are we waiting so long? I feel like the internet is frozen. There we go. All right. Nope. This is what we want, the cards. Okay, what's not working? Okay, let's refresh this page. It's still loading. We have a glitch in the matrix. Okay, now it's waiting. Wow, this is really slow. There you go. All right, so this is where we were. And here, right, this is the page that we did 2 years ago for Jose. This is just another way to access it. The different ways to support and donate to the PRCC. This is its own page, but it's also true that for people who are always asking, it's very hard to find. We've made it really easy here. Donate via PayPal. You click on this, it takes you straight to the PayPal donate page, right, for the Cultural Center. There you go, right? We also have Venmo and PayPal QR codes, which we'll distribute, right? That will make it even easier. The archives, this is sort of the big reason now that we're turning 50 that we did that, right? So here, if we go to our preview page, it tells you a little bit about the history of the Cultural Center in words and images, right? People will be able to scroll through this. So we have a poster collection. We have a little collection about our founders, Juan Antonio and Consuelo Lico, right? We have what I call the artifacts, individual stories of different pictures and stuff you see of the Culture Center. 5 decades of histories. This is in process. Right now, we're just doing the 70s, but each decade we have 30 to 50 pictures in which will have one line or more, right? Sometimes each decade will have approximately 10 stories that we have to write, right? But we'll have sound, like cassettes that we made MP3s from, in particular for the riots of 77, right? So it depends on what we have, but we have video and photos and audio and sometimes slideshows to complement those stories. That's what I think will make this so rich, right? When you guys need to hire, I know you go through Kevin and we go through Indeed. All this is a straight link to Indeed, right? But it's easy to go through the center instead of asking people to go through Indeed, or sending them a link, right? So here, what we're gonna go back. Okay, this is the long wait. It says connecting on my end, so really slowly. Any questions so far?
None on my end. Looks really good so far.
Wow, this is incredibly long that it's taking. I think it may be just the internet on my end, but let me see if there's a quicker way. No. Okay, here we are back at the ranch. Okay, so we go back to the cards here. We were here. This is something that we need every program directors. Not everybody has done it, so we've put it under construction. It won't be ready for next Tuesday when we're doing this, but it will be ready, right? This is just going to have a picture and a paragraph about the program directors and what they lead and where they come from. All right, the board of directors. This is a better detail of what our board of directors, who they are, and sort of what their projects are, so people know. A lot of them have published books, have done research, right? So here you have it, right? If we go back, this takes us to our initiatives, which is the first time we're trying to group things in under four themes, right? Economic development, and that's where business initiatives and SBDC falls under, educational initiatives, public health, and housing. So if we go to economic development, and this is where we really need your input. If there's anything that we're missing here, right? Business initiatives, WEPA, Mercado del Pueblo, Chicago Al Fresco, Illinois Small Business Development Center, DSBDA. This is just a filler. I don't know if we're not missing anything, I will delete this card by next Tuesday, right? So I do need to know if you think we're missing anything that should go under economic development. And if we are missing something, then I would need a picture and a paragraph, right? And because what are we missing and where do we point this card? Okay. So let's go back, and the same thing in short order, right? For the education. All right. Obviously, our child care, community as a campus, the youth employment and empowerment program. This also, because it's educational in nature, has the annual events, the 6 that I talked about, right? So the first one chronologically is the Winterfest, January 6th. The one that's next Friday, March 3rd, is also 2nd. Then comes the parade, right? All of these, remember, have new logos. Fiesta Boricua has gotten touched up also, right, with the logo. So it's more like the Taino sun in the background. Haunted Paseo, this is perhaps my favorite, right? It looks really, I think, cool. The Vejigante, was actually taken from Fiesta, made black and white, etc. And last, we're working on this logo, the Parranda, which takes place. I think it's been taking place already for 17 years. So that's where we are with that, right? So let's go back to public health. All right, these are all the initiatives under public health, the violence prevention and intervention department, Vida Sida, La Bodega del Barrio, we touched up their logo a little bit, the Trans Empowerment Center, the Behavioral Health Program, and Muévete, right? All of these, when you click on read more, they'll take you to the actual page with all of the articles around that, because that's the other thing that we thought is a weakness that we have to address, which is how do we get our program directors to assign somebody to write something regularly? In other words, we keep saying that we do all this wonderful work, be it in small business, public health, education. We should be able to write a paragraph every 2 weeks with a picture, right? This is what we did, and if not, if you need help, then we'll be glad to give you these suggestions, right? But we are asking people to write more, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So this takes us to housing. El Rescate, the Nancy Franco Maldonado Paseo Boricua Arts Building, housing, Hapwa, opportunity for people with AIDS. That's all we got here, right? If you click on it, it'll take you to more about them, right? But these are the way we want to group them. Partners takes us to our community partners. Again, if we're missing anything, this usually takes them to the website, right? So the high school website, the museum, the agenda, Oscars Foundation, Quimbisola Urban Theater, Hispanic Housing, right? Hold on a second. Roberto Clementi, his HIT and the company I work for, West Town Bikes, the hospital, Humboldt Park Health, National Boricua, Centro Sin Fronteras, Paseo Podcast. This is a filler. If we're missing a partner that we should have there, please let me know. Okay. All right. So the reason I skipped over here is because this takes us to the other part, the daily news, right? What we had before. We refreshed it. It's now La Voz. We want to make it the online paper in a better way. Here's another sample of the ad. We're having an International Women's Day event. Clarissa sent over this ad, right? She sent out the leaflet. We made it an ad, but in the future, she'll have her team make the ad now that she knows the dimensions, okay? And this hasn't changed. This hasn't changed at all. So basically, we just refreshed it. It has the same navigation as the other, the Cultural Center site, right? But it's the same thing. Go to partners, takes us to partners, the donate, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know. Wesley wants to join. Okay, here we go. That's it. So that's what we got. I know there's more, like the thing about the ads. I just want everybody to, I don't expect immediate feedback, but you really, once we open it up publicly, which will be Tuesday, please let me know what more we can do. Because in my mind, this is just how we did the infrastructure, right? This can still be better at telling everybody, every program's like SBDC's story. What do we need to say so to make it easier for Yaneshka or Honorio or Wesley to say, hey, just go to the website and type in this, right? SBDC or whatever you tell them. But the point is, this way, there's no wasting a lot of time about SBDC or the Cultural Center's history or, whatever they need, right? You should be able to have it, be it download a form, be it send them to another place. But we should be able to do a lot of the work that technology enables us to do. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, that's what I got. I don't know if there's any feedback.
So from my end, Alejandro, and this is something that I probably will want to talk to Jose, Juan, possibly to see if maybe changing the department name to match up with economic development, because there's a lot of initiatives under the business initiatives, and the business initiatives itself is not one program or business program. That's what kind of houses the SBDC, the NBDC, the CBC, Huepa Mercado del Pueblo, the Alfresco. Like, we have like 12 to 15 different things that we have going on. Ideally, under there, the Puerto Rico Town, and maybe that's where under the Puerto Rico Town section, that's where we also light up the Puerto Rico Town Chamber of Commerce, or do we create its own section
Right.
for that? We also have the Fuerza Fund. Do we create its own tab for that, or do we put that under the Puerto Rico Town? So once we launch it, I think it'll give us a better idea of what route we want to take to be able to say, hey, look, when people click on business initiatives, then it'll open up to all the different things that we have going on.
I think that's the discussion you want to have. Like, I don't believe we'll be able to do that by Tuesday, right?
Right. No, I
Instead
agree.
that, this is the great discussion that we want, right? And I don't believe, I think you guys have to give us the leadership on this. In other words, yes, we previewed the site with Alejandro, and these are the changes we want to suggest. And this is why we want to suggest the changes, right? Because it's what you say, this falls under this, but it's also true that there's a relationship between the content you can generate. In other words, if you tell me the Fuerza Fund goes under here, that means immediately I need a picture of for the Fuerza Fund and a paragraph, right? And is it just a descriptive card, right? Hold on a second. Hey, thank you. So to me, it is that saying, this way, anything you want to do with the Fuerza Fund, again, you just send people to the website and say, if you look under business initiatives or SBDC or wherever you can see Fuerza Fund, right? Even if you're not writing articles about it, that just means it doesn't go on the La Voz side. but you still have that card, what I call the card that you guys saw, right? So that says Fuerza Fund, or under there, if you click on SBDC, it takes you to all the initiatives under SBDC, under business initiatives, which is their own page, right? With one paragraph and picture descriptions, right? It's another way to get around. You don't have to write articles around Fuerza Fund all the time, right? And maybe it is just a micro loan program, right? But that you need to say that somewhere, right? So to me, that's the way to get around it.
And I'm thinking as far as like the future too, when we have the landing page for, I'm pretty sure the Chamber of Commerce will have its own webpage that we link to and so on. So I'm wondering if housing it all under the one card of the business initiatives and then having subcategories in there, SBDC, this, and that, and then each one will just click into that website because the SBDC has its own website. I believe,
and this one does. I mean, this one does
Uh-huh.
go to SBDC's website.
right. So I believe that might be the easiest way to just organize it under one. So what I can do is I'll have a staff session to address how we want to have it organized, because we also created a forms for the intake of vendors, and we would want to have something under the Mercado, whether once you click on the Mercado, to be able to say, hey, are you talking about Mercado del Pueblo Division Street? Are you talking about Mercado del Pueblo North Avenue?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Mercado del Pueblo pop-up? Maybe we have pictures from
Sure.
the Michigan Avenue experience and, Mercado del Pueblo on Michigan Avenue. And then we have a section with photos and stuff
Right.
to promote it and so on. So, and furthermore, when we have other partnerships with like Navy Pier and so on, there's a lot of opportunities. I want to be able to also provide like access to like the grants that are available to the small businesses and so on, but that needs to go within their own website of that
Right.
specific initiative, not under PRCC's landing
Right. So
page.
I agree with you. Once we get past, and maybe it'll take a couple of months, but we have an idea and we flesh out the structure. Like, look at the other, you mentioned it, the other refresh I want to do is of the WEPA website. Right?
Yeah, and that one, Alejandro, we're all in alignment. Your idea and my idea are exactly what we need to be. People need to land on that page and see that it's an experience.
Right.
Not we're trying to sell you something and click here to buy something. It's you should see it as, hey, there's a party going on there. I want to be in that party. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So
Right.
that's kind of where I want to head in that direction with that one. So I have been speaking to Master Digital. I believe he's the one that had done the first rendition of that website. So we'll continue the conversation on that.
Yeah. I mean, so we want to come up with a simple, a very simple theme. We're not trying to sell. I want to get rid of the e-commerce, because the other part of it is nobody is doing maintenance on that on a regular basis. And they shouldn't necessarily have to, but the problem is it's already done. Either you kill it, right, and you take it down, but what takes the place of it, right? So if we leave it up, I want it just to be, like you said, lots of great pictures, people eating, showing their wares. That's it, right? And contact information.
For those that want to have the commerce piece, we can just link it to their website.
Yeah, or their Facebook or
and
whatever,
make it
right?
easier.
Because
Yeah.
the problem is we don't want to give ourselves too much work, right? Or in this case, you guys. In other words,
Right.
we just we don't have the staff to say, hey, sure, we'll sell things for you. No, that's not what we want, right? Either inventory or distribution. We want to be able to say, hey, we're doing you a favor. This is part of the SBDC experience or the WEPA experience. Pictures you see, you're part of a community of vendors. This is an incubator experience, let's go, right? But that's it, right? And as long as they have contact number, email, phone number, and somebody, and maybe you guys have thought of this already, somebody should help the vendors fill out their Google profile, right? We had talked about this, right? But it's one of the things that would help them. Once they do it, they fill out the profile, we just link it to their Google profile, right? This way it's one less thing. They want to find out more, whatever.
I agree. So we'll all the feedback that I'll gather, I'll just shoot it over to you, and then we'll work together to be able to,
right.
make
The only
appropriate
thing I
changes.
would say is once you guys have an idea, you need to run it by, in terms of the website structure, by Juan, right? Because
Okay.
I wouldn't have had a problem. What are the economic development initiatives outside of what you're talking about? Because if there are none, maybe we should not call it economic development and call it business, if it's all encompassing. If it's not, then let's continue the conversation, because it's better to do it now. Like, I'm not the guy that thinks, oh, I just spent, 6 months killing myself here and yelling at Matt and Xiomara, and now people want to change it. No, we did that so we can get here, right? I believe this is going to be really, really good. And it's an example, both on the community history and archive side and the dynamic website that, in terms of the news and SBDC's role in the community.
And for the organization, it's extremely important to be able to showcase all the economic development, even if it's not something that's coming directly through our business
Absolutely.
initiatives office. All the affordable housing, the buildings, the different projects that we're partnered with, like that,
Yeah.
that needs to be showcased, and it needs to be in the economic development side. It is what it is. And as we transition, in the future to be more or take on more of a developer role and acquire other properties and so on, then at that point, maybe that's when maybe the time will be to, adjust maybe some of the business departments and so on. But I'm in agreement with that as well.
Okay. All right. That's what I got. Yaneshka, anything? Okay. I know that I don't know what happened with Wesley. I can tell you. So next time we meet, whenever we can set it up again, maybe in a month or whatever. But this is the homework. Then you guys will have met. You'll have your concrete suggestions. Anything about the navigation of the website, you'll run by Juan. That's basically it. And then you'll come back and we'll figure out, a timeline. When do we want to do this? How do we restructure it? And I'll grab Matt and Xiomara for that meeting.
Yep, you got it.
All right. I appreciate it. Whenever you guys want, if you have a question or something, you can reach out to me. All right. I'll actually be in town next week for a board meeting on Wednesday, but only for a couple days. So if I see you guys, all right.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you,
All right.
Alejandro.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.